The wind rolled across, the wide Texas plain as the sun slowly dipped behind the far-off ridge, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose. Ethan Ward, the quiet rancher, who rarely spoke more than a handful of words at a time, leaned against the wooden fence and watched the dust trail in the distance. It wasn't the dust of cattle or wagons, it was the dust of footsteps. 11 of them. A tired woman, walking slowly with 9 children clustered around her. Each step heavy, each breath a silent prayer. Ethan narrowed his eyes, not out of suspicion, but out of concern. From far away, even without knowing anything about them, he could see the weight they carried, not on their backs, but in their hearts. As they approached the ranch gate, the oldest girl, the little one with the oversized dress and brave shoulders, stepped forward. Her voice trembled, but there was honesty in the way she fought to stand tall. "Sir," she said, clutching the strap of her worn bag, "my mom. She's looking for work." But nobody wanted her. Nobody wanted us because there are 9 of us. She didn't cry, but Ethan felt as though the whole sky shattered around that small sentence. He studied their faces, 9 children, each one thinner than they should have been. Each one wearing shoes that had clearly been passed down 3 times too many. The woman behind them, their mother, looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. She had a kind face, but exhaustion dimmed every feature. Still, she had dignity, standing straight, holding her babies close, refusing to let the world see how close she was to giving up. Ethan became still, extremely still. The kind of stillness that happens before a big moment in a man's life, before something inside changes for good. He stepped forward. "What's your name?" he asked gently. The little girl hesitated and quietly said her name was Lucy. Ethan nodded, remembering it immediately. He always remembered the names of kids, maybe, because he'd never had any of his own, despite wanting a family more than anything. He looked at the mother. "And yours?" She swallowed, lowering her eyes. "Maria." Her voice carried both humility and apology, as though she felt guilty for needing help. Ethan wiped his palms on his jeans. He wasn't good with long conversations, and he definitely wasn't used to visitors. But something about them stirred something deep in his chest, a feeling he hadn't felt since he was a boy. He lifted his chin. "Why did nobody want you?" Maria took a breath, but before she could speak, Lucy stepped in front again, this time with a strange mix of hurt and defiance. "Because we're too many. People say Mom should have left us behind. People say we'll be a burden. But we just want a place to stay. We can work, all of us. We don't eat much. We don't cry a lot. We don't complain." Her voice cracked, revealing more pain than a child should ever carry. "Please, sir, just give Mom a chance." Ethan felt those words sinking into him like roots. He looked around at his ranch, acres and acres of quiet land, barns large enough to echo, a home built for a family he never had. Every room empty, every hallway silent. The ranch needed life, and standing before him was an entire world of it. 9 children with eyes full of stories. A mother who stood like a soldier guarding what little she had left. Ethan exhaled slowly, then said the words he himself didn't expect. "Good." Lucy blinked in confusion. So did the rest. Ethan continued, his voice steady, warm, and certain. "Good," he repeated. "Because I want all of you." Silence, the kind of silence that comes right after thunder. Maria covered her mouth. Some of the younger kids gasped. Lucy stared at Ethan like she wasn't sure she'd heard correctly. "You want us?" she whispered. Ethan nodded. "I run this ranch alone. It's too much for one man. But with all of you, maybe it becomes a home." Again, Maria's eyes filled instantly, with tears she'd been holding back for months. "Sir, we don't want charity. We'll work. Not charity," Ethan said firmly. "You help me, I help you. That's how things should be." He opened the ranch gate wide. "Come in." The moment they stepped inside, something shifted. The ranch didn't just look different, it felt different. You could almost hear laughter returning to a place that had forgotten it. As the kids scattered around the yard, marveling at chickens, touching hay for the first time, calling each other to look at horses, Maria remained near Ethan, Still unsure, still trembling. Sir, we won't be trouble, I promise. Ethan shook his head. Trouble, he repeated. Ma'am, I've lived alone out here long enough. Quiet gets lonely. A ranch needs noise. Life needs noise. As the children started exploring, the youngest boy lifted a tiny chick gently in his small hands and giggled, a sound so pure it melted something inside Ethan he didn't realize had turned cold. He watched them with a growing sense of purpose, almost disbelief at how quickly life could change. Maria wiped her tears discreetly, embarrassed by her emotions. We've been walking for 4 days. No one would even open their door. Ethan glanced at her gently. Well, mine's open, and he meant every syllable. Later, when the sun dipped further and the horizon glowed like fire, Ethan led them into the house. The kids stared at the long wooden dining table like it was a treasure. You all hungry? Ethan asked. They nodded shyly. Good, he said again. I'll cook. Maria immediately shook her head. No, sir, let me, please. You've already done too much. Ethan hesitated. He wasn't used to people doing things for him. But the way Maria spoke wasn't from pride. It was from gratitude. All right, he said softly. Kitchen's yours. As Maria cooked, the ranch filled with a warmth Ethan hadn't felt since he was a boy, listening to his mother hum over the stove. The children whispered, giggled, helped set the table. It wasn't chaotic, it was beautiful. And Ethan stood there, watching them, arms crossed, feeling something he never expected, belonging. When dinner began, every child ate quietly at first, as though afraid the food would disappear. But halfway through, Lucy suddenly spoke, her voice small but steady. Mr. Ethan. Why did you say you want all of us? Nobody's ever said that. Ethan took a breath, looking at her with sincerity that came straight from his soul. Because families shouldn't be split. Because your mom shouldn't have to choose between feeding you and keeping you. Because kids deserve a place where they don't have to apologize for existing. Lucy stared at him for a long time. Then she whispered, I think you're a good man. Ethan gave a small smile. I think you all deserve a good life. That night, as the stars blinked awake in the Texas sky, Ethan set up beds, blankets, and pillows. The kids fell asleep instantly, safe for the first time in months. Maria lingered by the doorway, watching them, her hands shaking from relief. I don't know how to thank you, she whispered. Ethan answered, without looking away from the sleeping children. You don't have to. Then quietly, as if afraid to disturb the peace that had finally settled over the ranch, he added, You're home now.